Well, welcome back, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is an addendum to our last video, where Natalie will walk us through the process of looking up property taxes for residential property. You can find more detailed information in part 2 of this series if you want to get in depth. But Natalie, take it away.
All right, so going to show you an example here of looking up a residential property in Jefferson County. This layout is present on a lot of different counties. It's very similar to this. So I'm just going to pay attention that when look this up, we're not typing the entire address into one cell. These use a system generally, where as soon as you type in a number, it will start to bring up the options. So I'm just going to pick one here, go through. I'm picking 1701 South. And these are public records. All the counties do post these. And looking down, we've found the property we want to identify. And what we're going to be doing is going down to where we're looking at property valuation. Again, the purpose here is trying to figure out the value. And then ultimately, what are the estimated upcoming taxes? And somebody wants to look up prior taxes, they can do that too. So in this case, we've got 2023 taxes. So right now the assessment's been sent out. People can protest the value. It's not yet determined. We're still right in the middle of this. Later in the year, mill levy gets set, taxes get determined. So we're looking up the value itself. So we're dealing with 2023 payable in 2024. We found the property. We see even the prior year. But right here over on the right is where we can view the notice that was just sent out to this specific property owner. By doing that, it's going to pop up a screen, give the current year's actual value the assessor believes to be correct, and the prior year, the change in value. I mean, we can see here on this property, $175,000 increase. That's pretty substantial. Gives a description of the property, the heating system, the square footage, all of these different things. And then what has just been sent out is the process to do the appeal. And this is a process that we want to get more people involved with. And I hope we can do an episode, hopefully a short one, on how to use the protest process and also what's called the abatement process, which some people are not aware of at all. But if you missed a certain deadline, you may be able to retroactively correct a property value that's been assessed improperly for one reason or another. So moving back now to this, I just closed out that window, but the main screen, we're dealing with a property that is in Jefferson County. And as I noted in a prior episode, there are multiple special local governments that are getting the proceeds from your property taxes. In this case, it's actually a relatively short list compared to some others, especially areas that are newer. It might have metropolitan district. But what it's giving you is the list of governments that you are contributing, or not contributing, you're being forced to pay property taxes, basically. It's not a voluntary thing. We've got the Water and Sanitation District, the City of Lakewood Regional Transportation District, School, Urban Drain Sludge, and the Fire District. Now, you're able to see the mill levies, which is part of that equation, for the prior year. You are not able to see it for the current cycle because, as I've described previously, the mill levies are set in the fall of the year. And that's where you as an individual, not only can you protest your property taxes, but you can be speaking to these local elected officials, make the decision and set that mill levy, and encourage them, poke them, prod them. If people are running for office, get them to promise that they're going to do something about property tax reform and in Colorado. And so therefore, these mill levies are not set on the 2023, which is going to be payable on that January tax bill we get in 2024. So then how do we figure out what the taxes are? You could scroll through all of these different parts of the description, but ultimately what you are trying to figure out here is find this little link that sometimes is not so easy to spot, and you'll go to the treasurer's tax information. Sometimes that is just listed as taxes versus estimated, something along that line. You should be able to spot it though. The point is, the link should be there tied to the property, and you don't have to go all the way over to the treasurer's page and look it up. The systems are joined together to try to make it easier for people to figure out. So here we have estimated 2023 taxes pay. So I'm sorry, let me jump back. What you're seeing here on this layout with the original bill and the amounts of roughly $2,500 was that prior year. We, now that we're at this page, are going to be looking up the estimated 2023 property taxes. And you can see on this example, what used to be $2,500 is projected to go up $1,000 for this next January bill. If I go over to, that was using Jefferson County as an example. Let me move the screen around a little bit. Now I'm at Denver's property taxation page. I'm going to pop in just, and you'll note here, let me back up. There's an option to look up real estate. I've talked about how real properties charge property taxes, but also business personal property, equipment, tools, electronics, different things like that. So we're going to just stick with real property. I'm just going to type in some address here that no rhyme or reason really. We'll just take a look at this one, and we should see, make sure I got that there. Okay, scroll down, and usually got some kind of pop-up. Scroll down, you should be able to spot the address. Now this one's going to be a little bit higher because the property value here, we've got, I spotted, I think, 1.some million dollars, which doesn't actually take a tremendous amount, at 2308 South Emerson Street. If we look here, we're going to find, whereas Jeffco kind of put it all more on one page, Denver has just as good of a system, but it lays it out more with the tabs. We've talked about assessed values, assessment protest, these different things. In this case, and here's comparable neighborhood sales, that's part of the protest process. But taxes is where we're focusing on in this one. Not as much worried about details. If you go into this property, you'll see pretty much the same type of a layout. And in this case, based on 2023 taxes payable this year, this property themselves just paying $5,600. And looking at the assessments and what was probably projected on this one, I would assume they're easily looking at $1,000 or more dollars payable in this next cycle. And it goes back to, should government get a bonus of these shockingly high property values going up? I mean, the lowest numbers that we've seen out there is 25% increase in property values. But we get into some communities and they're 70%, potentially even higher. I can speak to a few examples I know of where they're in a 100 or 140% increase. And the whole question is, will income support this? And why should we be facing this when local governments have the ability to lower mill levy rates? Some communities, if it's wise enough, not to give up their TABOR protections, Taxpayers Bill of Rights, or the 5.5 mil protection. Now, I've described a home rule municipality is not under the 5.5 cap, but nothing stops the local government from lowering the mill levy. That takes action by citizens to be vocal and say that we are not going to let the government get a big bonus while we face stress and an uncertain financial future because of what has happened to property values. So I hope that gets people a little bit confident in this information. They can go look it up. I know most people are going to be, a little bit shocked when they go to see what these is going to mean to their wallets, but at least being able to know what's going on and know that you can correct this, you can make a difference. You don't have to just sit by, wait for that bill to come in the mail that's going to frighten you, basically. You can do something about it, but need to understand better how the system works, and that's why we've got these videos.
Yes, I think that was a great example, a great way to show how to fund your property taxes, how to understand the increases that are coming. And I just feel so, I feel bad. I don't know. I feel worried, I guess, for a lot of these people who've, maybe are retired or on a fixed income, people who've been in their homes for a long time and maybe haven't done any improvements, maybe haven't really done anything to their house, but now all of a sudden their property tax bill is doubling and some of these people aren't going to be able to afford it. I mean, what's that going to do to our community? Forcing people out, especially long-term residents who don't necessarily have an opportunity to seek a new job or to increase their wages. I mean, it's a sad situation, but people need to be empowered and people need to be encouraged that there is an option out there to push back. And that's what like you were saying, Natalie, that's the purpose of these videos. So thank you again for this wonderful example and look forward to the next time.
I do too. Thank you.